Uh, Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all who are joining for this webinar. Thanks for joining. So, as you understood, the webinar topic is all about importance of DevOps in current industry trends. So, I think before getting on to the details, let me put the context. I think for last 9 months, all of us across the globe, for all the reasons because of COVID, we are actually got locked. But I think essentially my read when I was going through different articles in last couple of weeks, my understanding was that the technology from the standpoint of digital transformation has moved very, very fast, right? It's if a company is supposed to do the digital transformation in 6 years as a strategy, which actually able to do it within 6 to 9 months because of all the reasons of COVID-19 and the needs and the expectations what it is coming out of the customers. So essentially, the DevOps also plays a very essential role in the digital transformation, from obviously identifying patterns to uncovering new revenue streams, right? In fact, experts say it's hard to have one without the other. So you cannot leave out DevOps for and out of digital transformation, right? So with that, I will get on to the next slide and we talk on that details going forward. So myself, I'm Subaro Kapila. As highly introduced me, I'm VP Service Delivery and Pre-Sales, working for a company called Critical River Inc. I come with overall 25 years of experience with various roles in various industries across different geos. Right. I'm also a digital savvy and continuous learner. I have my colleague Prithvi Raj, who is a senior sales developer, also working for Critical River. He comes with 8 years of Salesforce experience and also have some experience around DevOps tool on Copado and along with the Flowsum. So he's also a speaker and trainer by himself. So let me move on to the next slide. So I'll quickly talk about what is Critical River all about. So we are basically a technology consulting company. We are 300 plus professionals. We have a growth rate of 40% year on year. We have 100 plus clients, and our count continues. Our DNA is around innovation in the digital transformation, and we are wide with the values, especially on the commitment to the customers. We are headquartered in Pleasanton, USA, Bay Area. We have offices in Dallas, Dubai, Sydney, and Hyderabad, India. So what we do in Critical River? So essentially our technology offerings spread across Salesforce services, digital transformation, digital customer engagement solutions, system and processes integrations, ERP, and billing applications. While the spread of our industries is from high-tech industry, energy and utilities, financial services, non-profit, healthcare, and manufacturing. So this is all about what we are and what we as a company. So with this, I request my colleague Prithvi to talk about details on the DevOps. All yours, Prithvi.
Thank you, Subbu, for putting the DevOps perspective into the picture. That was easier for me to continue. So, hi everyone, respected audience. Let me first walk you through what exactly is DevOps. So, for anyone who thinks that DevOps is a tool or an application, that is not true entirely, because DevOps is basically a culture which promotes the collaboration between, as the name suggests, dev and ops team. So it is basically interfacing team between the development and the operations. And in our IT world, when I say a operations team, it can also include a deployment team or a QA team, the testing team, or even a data loading team. So what DevOps does is that right from the project ideate to the through the development through the end of the project, it will give you certain tools and it will govern certain policies and practices so that your project will be delivered fastly, efficiently, and successfully. Now, before the DevOps, let's discuss what is the world IT world before the DevOps. So, as I said, DevOps is mainly for the collaboration. That is because previously there was no collaboration. That means the operation and the dev team were working in isolation. That also means that first the dev team will be working on the design and the build, and then the operation team will take over, will do the deployment and the testing. So let's say if there are any early defects detected, that will take actual project time, more project time than intended, because once in the later part of the project, if the defects are detected, they have to go through the bug fixing, the development process, the deployment, and again the testing. So this is a huge uh, uh, increase in the manpower. So, and also the timelines have been extended enormously. So that is the reason there was a very much critical need for a robust IT technology like DevOps. So what exactly has happened DevOps, how it has improved our IT world? First of all, as I said earlier, and I will be telling multiple times in this presentation, the collaboration. Because of the higher collaboration, that means that there will be continuous deployment and continuous release happening all through along the project timeline. That gives us the faster delivery time, and also because both the teams are in sync, that means the defects are detected very early in the stage, thereby reducing the lag time between the defects detection and the product delivery. Now, with this, I'll walk you through the Salesforce native deployment tools, but I won't be discussing about those tools, but instead I'll be walking you through the what are the challenges we'll be facing with those tools. So primarily in Salesforce, there are three deployment tools: ChainSet, and Metadata API. So ChainSet is basically a configuration based native to Salesforce and is a third party tool, but very much prominent. And the next comes the Metadata API. So when we use these tools, you can find some of the challenges you might have encountered. Some of them I have listed here. The first one is that not everything can be deployed. There will be some standard configuration, standard profiles. Those cannot be deployed through these tools, and there is no delivery chain maintained. That means that, let's say I have three environments: dev, QA, and UAT, and I'm deploying a certain solution, certain package from dev to QA. I'll be building a chain set. Once it is deployed and tested, I have to move it to upstream, that is to UAT. At that point of time, I cannot reuse my existing chain set. Instead, I have to build a new chain set from the scratch and again deploy it to the UAT. That means the two chain sets which I have built are independent in nature. There is no chain, there is no track maintained between them. The next issue, the challenge we were facing was that the back deployments, the rollbacks are not possible. Let's say that you have developed a solution and for some reason the client has updated their requirement or said that, hey, let's partially hold off on this requirement, or else there are some bugs which are occurring only in the higher environments. At that point of time, in order to make sure that your user acceptance or your external users doesn't get affected, you have to make sure that your target org is in sync. That means you have to undo all the changes, but before the DevOps you cannot do that. Instead, what you do is that you can go manually and delete all those code and redeploy the previous checkpoint state of that target org. So this is basically not a control Z or not a undo, not a rollback. Instead, it is a manual work. And as I said earlier, I will be using two different chain sets. So at that point of time, the changes in the components are not at all tracked. That means if a certain component is being deployed three times, I would not know in which deployment what changes have gone through. All I have is that the last version of that component. With that, the next important point, the native tools are not at all integrated with the version control systems like GitHub, Azure. So that means, again, there is no source of truth for me. All I have is the last version. So because of these, there are some, the final output is something like this. The deployment time is increased. Why? Because I'll be building those chain sets or those package.xml, all those folders multiple times. The bigger, the more the number of my environments are, the more the amount of work I have to put through it. And I also cannot reuse them. I have to build them from scratch. So there is no reusability coming into the picture here. And let's say that once you do the deployment, there is, in certain situations, you have to do the load testing. That means you have to do the data load. And this data load used to happen manually. So the data loading team or the consultants or the developers used to pull out the data in the Excel sheet and upload that Excel sheet into the target org. That means there is a possibility of a human error, and there is no dependency analysis. Let's say that if right before the DevOps, all the developers used to have to collaborate with the other developers and see that if they are not stepping on their toes, because what if their code overrides some other functionality? What if there is a code overlapping? So at that point of time, you have to do a manual collaboration, but there is no checkpoint whatsoever to do the dependency analysis. And let's say no solution or no technology is error free. There has to be a backup solution in case your project has some bugs or some very serious errors. So at that point of time, there is no fallback approach. All you have to make sure is that you have to delete them manually and make sure that your target and source are both are in sync. Again, this is a manual intervention. And again, the lack of visibility into the changes. As I said, if there are multiple deployments going on the same component, at any point of time, I cannot tell who has made what change. All I have is the last version. So having discussed all the most of the issues we have with the native deployment tools, I introduce you the Flossom, the complete DevOps solution, which is totally native to Salesforce. So, as I said, Flossom is a DevOps solution. That means when you start a project, you design, you build, you develop, and then do the deployment, the testing. For all of these, Flossom provides you with all the capabilities, all the features, so that you can successfully deliver your project. And what's better, it also integrates with Salesforce GX and Scratch.org. And the next point, uses version as source of truth. Because of Flossom's capability of integrating with the version control system like GitHub and Azure, it can use the version as a source of truth. That means at any point of time, I can go and check all the versions. I'll have the track of all the versions of all the requirements and also the multiple versions of that requirement. Let's say today I have developed the requirement, but after a week, the changes have been updated, but I have two versions now if I have committed. And the Flosum gives you two installation modes. Generally, you can install that AppExchange product in your production org, or else Flosum itself will provide you a separate org and the licenses. And the last and the most important point, customer is the owner of the org. As I said, natively, the whole importance of the point is that Flossom is not an external solution. It is native to Salesforce. That means whatever the data, the code, the application you have built will not be moved out of your Salesforce org. And all the security settings, whatever you do in your Salesforce org, will be applied to the Flossom. There will be no external intervention. With that, let's go through some of the capabilities of the Flossom, which helped us in different aspects of our project successful delivery. First of all, the data migrator. So currently the data migration happens manually. There will be a certain team who does upload the Excel sheets or the CSV files of the data. They do the VLOOKUP, they maintain the hierarchies, all of this complex work. But in the Flossom, there is a feature called Data Migrator. Here, you can upload template and map all the fields and columns, and voila, with a single button click, you can upload your test data upstream to the higher environments. And it gets better. The data is masked. That means no one apart from not even Flossum, because Flossum will be doing it in the back end, but no one even from the Flossum can see your data. So your data is secure. Next, conflict detection and merge. So as I said, the developers are roaming around and talking with other developers so that their code doesn't overlap with each other. But again, that is a explicit thing you have to do. But what if there is something, a feature or a checkpoint for everyone, so that when, let's say, whenever I am deploying, it will check for the conflicts and it will detect, and then the developers get to meet and then merge their code changes, so there will be no code overrides. And the training required for this is very minimal. Next comes the code review. From the starting, I have been saying all about the collaboration between the development and the operation team. But what if your project is so big that there are multiple development tracks? So at that point of time, how will you collaborate between both of them? There has to be some checkpoint. One of the checkpoint which Flossum offers is that code review. So let's say there must be some senior tech lead in your track. So they have to do the code review with this tool for the greater collaboration. Next comes the regression testing. Let's say that you have deployed a huge chunk of functionality to a UAT environment and you have to do a smoke testing. So initially, there are certain tools to do that, like Selenium. So Flossum also integrates with Selenium. The Selenium testing output and results can be recorded and can be stored the in the servers like AWS or Azure or any other on-premise solutions that customer has. And the most important part, the security. As it is native, your solution is not moved out of your Salesforce org, and there is no backdoor access to your data in the production org for the Flowsum. Now, the different operations supported by Flossom are: it can validate your code, it can deploy it, or it can also roll back your changes. And all this with just a button click. And the specialized deployments, you can do full deployments, or else if you have already committed all the components, but you choose to deploy only just a partial or a half of those components, you can do that also. You can even do the profile deployments. So Flowsum comes in with some very strong built-in automation. But let's say that, as I said, DevOps is not a tool, it's a culture. But if your team has some extra requirement or extra practices you need to keep in place, then you can certainly use workflows and other automations to enhance the Flowsum capabilities in your org. Now, let's say that not all requirements need coding. So what if you have built a configuration solution which doesn't require any test class running? At that point of time, I can simply go and select do not run tests option. At the same time, I can also run local test, specified test, all tests. The flexibility is huge. And this has been my favorite because of the lack of availability in the other DevOps tools, the profile management. In Salesforce, profile are the most trickiest and also the most important and also the most riskiest feature in Salesforce. It controls the user's features, everything from data to configuration and everything. So, but with my profile management tool in Flossum, I can partially or fully retrieve or deploy them. I can merge them. I can compare between two different orgs, source and target org. Now, the current slide offers you all the officially supported integrations. It supports version control tools like GitHub, Bitbucket, and Azure DevOps, and also regression testing with Silk, Selenium, and other tools, and also the agile management systems like Jira, ServiceNow version 1, and the code quality tools like PMD and SonarQube for the code reviews. And there are other integration with the App Exchange packages like Aptus, Viva, Velocity, and for the IntelliJ desktop editor and also for the Visual Studio Code, there is a Flowsum plugin involved, which you can use and do it from the directly from your desktop. Having said that, uh, let me summarize you the key points of this presentation. So again, I might be being repetitive, but me being repetitive means that point is that more important to the DevOps, that the cultural changes are the key to the DevOps success. It's not that if certain team is following certain practices, it it doesn't matter. It has to those challenges or those practices have to be adapted by your team. So your team can have different practices, so you have to implement them. The IT and the ops need to collaborate with each other so that the DevOps is a success. So finally, I can say that to ensure high success rate for the releases and to reduce the lead time between the bug fixes, to streamline and to do a continuous deployment through automation, and to reduce the manpower cost, DevOps is one of the best robust technology we have in our IT world. Thank you for staying with me. In case of any questions, I'm available. Do let me know. Thank you, Subbu. Thank you, Haley.
All right, great. Thank you so much. That was really well presented. We appreciate it. I am actually going to jump into a couple questions that we got before we move on. The first one is just asking in general, what is the DevOps life cycle? Can you go into a little more detail on that?
Yeah, sure. So basically, it not slightly, it basically resembles the project lifestyle life cycle. For example, in your project, you have first design, and then you do the development and deployment, and then testing. So in the same way, DevOps also has the same level of stages. First, the design, and for the development, you have the code editors and everything into the picture, and then for the deployment, obviously the Flowsum itself. Uh, I mean, I'm just giving Flowsum as an example, but any other tool also. And even for the code review and code checkup, there are the tools. So it's basically whatever you need for a project lifecycle to get success. Those are the stages even for the DevOps.
Okay, awesome. And then we have a question: what skill level is required for a team to use Flowsum?
For Flowsum, I would say beginner level is also enough for it. The reason being, it is a basically no code all clicks tool. So all you have to do is that just like uh, some app on your phone, what you do, you go to the app, you navigate through the app, and you collect all the information regarding the capabilities or the features. Just like that, for the Flowsum, there is no coding or development experience required. You just have to do a trial run and see what all features you can use better for your collaboration of your project and use it. So the skill level is very beginner level.
Okay. And then I think this is going to be our last question before we move on. What kind of technologies come under DevOps? So I think they're asking what kind of other technologies can you use to fuel your Salesforce DevOps?
With Salesforce, there are other, apart from Flowsum, there is Copado, the one which I'm very much familiar with. But again, as I said, it is a culture. So you need not to get restricted for one solution. Let's say you can use a Copado just for the deployment. For the code review, you can use PMD. And for collaboration between your teams, you can use Jira or Service One. So it's a bunch of tools for the collaboration. Whichever fits for your project better, that will be your DevOps solution.